All right, so let's do start now. Thank you very much for being patient and with it. Just give me an acknowledge before we get start, guys. Are you able to hear me clearly and can see my screen? Is that my screen is visible to everyone? Can you chat or can unmute your call and can
Yes.
answer me? Perfect. Thank you. All right. So we are going to talk about the cybersecurity, right? So, before I get into the more detailed topic about the cybersecurity, I would like to tell you about that. What exactly is this? Like, how we're going to start this career? What is an opportunities are there, and what are this curriculum which we design? So, if I'll talk about an opportunities right from 24 to 25, we have we have seen like there is a huge job opportunities are there where higher package are demanded in the market with the right skill with the right process. If you've been working as a security expert, so there are like the several areas are there where you need to be crack your interview. So the curriculum what we have designed that make focus on how you're going to crack your interview, that is the first important part. The complete course that highly focus on real time scenario, how you're going to crack your interview, that's the first point. The second important thing is that how you're going to show your confidence when it is comes on the practical process. While there have been a real-time tools, like how you're going to deal that, how you're going to investigate certain alerts, what type of incident happens, what type of actions we need to take. So that are into the complete detailed process, how we're going to respond to those incident. We're going to have the complete guidelines on that. We're going to do the practical sessions on that in order to handle those incidents. We're going to have different projects during the training, right? So that projects makes you more perfect with the hands-on process that's required in the organization. Now, most of the companies, like where you're going for a job, how you're going to crack your interview. Many of people do the course, they do the certifications, but they fail to get the job. The reason why, because they don't know the area what they're going to ask you. They just focus on like getting trained on train, like on a practical module, or they're getting trained on certification basis. That's all okay, that's fine. I'm not denying that. But when it is comes on job, that's the most important thing, is that what they're going to ask you. That's the related concept which we're going to see that. So the first question I'll say you that, like if I'll talk about this, if you are an interviewer, like you're having some double digit experience, let's say that 10 to 12 years of experience you have, and you're going to be take someone's interview, right, for a particular job position, what would be your first question? Your first question is that tell me your daily work routine, like what's your daily work. That's you start. Now, with that answer, with your 10 year of experience, you will understand, like how is that the person? Is that the person having the experience, or this person just acting? So there are several things are there, right? So that we need to consider here. So while been working on it, how we going to crack those interview? What are the default alerts are there? What type of like investigations alerts are there? How do you do any type of investigations when it is comes? That's again very important questions. How we can see, like what are the receive alert, what are the privilege escalations are there, what are like the positive, true positive, false positive, how those EDRs works. There's huge areas are there where they're going to be asked, right? So how you going to answer those things? That is with the practical approach, that is with the proper guidelines. So these curves which take you to the complete real scenario base with lot of use cases and live projects while working. So we're going to do multiple projects during this training to get you understand the complete concept what is required in the security. All right. So let me start with some basic introduction today. I would like to give you some idea what is cybersecurity, how it works, and what is the process. Now, getting into this topic, before we get start this, I want you to make it sure that We don't require any pre-requesting thing. Like, you say that I am completely non-IT person, that I'm trying to switch into security. That absolutely okay. There's no problem. You do not worry about anything because I'm going to take you from scratch to the advanced level. I can guarantee you, if you follow my sessions, if you follow the instructions, if you follow, like, the daily task which we are going to provide you, within 60 sessions, within this 60 session, you're capable enough to clear your interview first attempt. This is, I can tell you about it. On recording, I can say to you that if you do the proper task, if you do the proper process, and you follow my instructions and follow the syllabus, the course, what we're doing it, so you've been able to crack your interview on a first attempt, that with the high intense salaries. That's like, minimum package within India. If you're starting like 10 to 15 lakh package, you can easily crack. Beyond that, it depends upon your existing experience, like up to 18, 20, 25 also the people can reach, but it depends upon their existing experience. So I'm saying that person who are trying to get switched into the IT, the person who's trying to get it into the IT and have some academic gap of 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, right? Those are the people where I'm talking about it, where we can do that process. Okay. So let's do start without any delay. And I want you to be make this interactive sessions. So if you have any doubts, if you feel like something is growing, uh, like, beyond that, or something is above the head, please feel free to pause me, stop me, ask me, whatever the questions you have it. All right. So quickly put in the chat. Let's do start. Let me see like how many people are active. Imtiaz, iPhone, Muhammad, Praveen, Subit, Sohel, everybody. I just want you to put it in the chat. Let's start.
Can I speak, Sheikh?
Yeah.
Like, can I get sure, great? First of all, thanks for the introduction that you gave in. So, may I know, are you currently working or like do you have any experience? Like, how much
Yeah.
can we
If
get
you
intro of yours? About?
Perfect, perfect. Thank you. I'll tell you about my profile. Like, before I get, like, we are already given some introduction. I believe, like, you were not there. So, no worries. I'll tell you. My name is Sheikh Iftikhar, and I'm having almost 15 years of experience working into the different domain. Especially, I work in the cyber security domain, like as a pen tester. I work as an information security analyst. I work on, like, auditing systems where I'll be the process of deploying the different SOC operations to the different clients. So now we are there into the business handling the different clients, finding out their assets, what are the asset lists are there, what are the criticalities of those assets, how we can, like, set up their complete environment, how we can define the risk level, what are the mitigations levels are there. So those are the areas which we are focusing on. So I'm dealing with almost nearly 16 different country people, like, giving the services, outsourcing different requirement, doing an audit based on the compliance like GDPR, HIPAA, ISO 27001, understanding, like, what are the drafting policies would be required, what are the controls have been required, what are, like, audit missing process are there. If it is talk about the SOC operations based on their budget, what are the budgets are there. So based on that budget, what are the technology can be get set up, right from network security to endpoint security and the SOC operations. So how we can deploy these all things, which is my experience and expertise are there.
Yeah, thanks, Sheikh.
Yeah. All right. So let's do start now. So as I said you that, right, the cyber security. If we talk about the cyber security, it's the one of the most important and demanded fields are there here, right? So if I talk about something about the cyber security, first we need to understand what does it mean by the cyber security. It's a part of information security. So cybersecurity is a subset of information security. I can say that information security is a very wider part, like when we talk about it. So whenever we see that any security process we are designing, that is based on the CIA triad, we call as confidentiality, integrity, and availability, which plays major roles in order to design the security of any organizations where we can see that. So confidentiality is nothing but how your data can be kept as much as confidential, like whenever we are sending or receiving any information in here. So whenever we design any kind of, like, assets, if we can design any kind of securities for any organizations, so that based on these three standards, this is at the framework we can see that the CIA triad, the confidentiality, making like all your data encrypted using high algorithms, like, the security algorithms to encrypt your data. Example, We are using the transport layer securities in order to, encrypt data. If I talk about integrity, integrity is like nothing but we call as a modification. There should not be any kind of modifications or alteration should happens to your data. Your data should be always secure. They should not have any kind of tampering here. That is we call as an integrity. And availability, the service should always available. So if we see that 24 by 7 365 days the service should always available, that is called as an availability here. So this is how the CIA triad will be there. So when I talk about implementing the CIA triad, it for any areas where we can think that either it can be, when I talk about, this can be done for any areas, as we can see that, when I'm designing the security for any organization. So the CIA triad is implemented right from our devices, applications, or it can be the computer security, it can be the network security, it can be the physical security, or it can be any kind of the policies or any kind of audits can be done here. So based on that, where the CIA triad will be worked here. So in general, if I can say that the confidentiality, integrity, and the availability applies for all security areas, right from physical security to the device security, where we can see that this is called as the defense in depth, where through which this process is done here. So this is at the main area where we focus as a security expert while we working on it. So let me just tell you something about this. So when I talk about the information security, when we have seen that, so the CIA triad are implemented for the entire security systems, right? So what happens is how it will be designed. It designed in order to make sure that our data is secure from the attackers. So attackers are nothing but the hackers, and hacking as a professional, we know that the different type of hackers are there. But I would like to bring some of, the most important part where we're going to see that as in our career in cybersecurity, which is going to be get start, you're going to see that the white hat hackers, you're going to see the black hat hackers, also the gray hat hackers. Now what does this means? White hat hackers, who's these guys are they? So white hat hackers are nothing but the people who are the skill set which is there to protect an organization. So all the assets we are going to protect. That is called as a white hat hacker. So that's nothing but the good guys, we can see that. And the black hat hackers are nothing but the cyber criminals. These are the bad guys which is always do the hacking. They find out the different type of vulnerabilities in the applications, and they're going to take an advantage of those vulnerabilities while being there working on it. And we have the gray hat hackers. So gray hat hackers are like a border between the white and black. So it's the combinations, we can see that it's like a cat on the wall. We can't do, we don't know where it's going to be jump. Either it can be right, either it can be left. It depends upon the condition and circumstance where this is going to be happening. This is how, we have the white and black and gray hat hackers where we can consider. So if I'll tell you some more detail about this, so white hat hackers are nothing but the good guys, which are the ethical hackers, where we can see that we always use our skills, hacking skill for defensive system. We always focus on genuine license. We focus on penetration testing with the owner permission. Penetration testing is nothing but testing in applications, finding out the vulnerabilities and doing the patch management for those applications here. We never use our skill for illegal purpose. We'll always improve the defense here. This is what we call as a white hat hackers. Now, if I talk about the black hat hackers, they are the computer criminals. They exploit the vulnerabilities for their personal gain. They have only one motive to make it huge profit. So they're going to attack with an motive. Whenever the attacker are doing an attack, they have certain motive. So 70% of motive can be a making a huge profit, but rest of 30% can be varies. It depends upon, process what they do. It can be the reason for a country, that can be reason for politicians, that can be reason for certain type of vandalisms and so on. There might be anything is there. So motive can be make it huge profit. Most of, the attackers have it. These attackers always make attack to make their personal, gain. They use their skills, the computer skills, to they make personal gains here. They're going to hack the bank, steal the credit card, personal information, placing the different malwares. Now how these malwares they generate? So they might be a code, they do it, or they might be go to the dark web, they purchase those malware and, do the attack. And there are several steps rather where these attackers are used. And as I said, you the gray hat hackers. So these guys also the computer expert. they disclose the security flaws to the public. It depends upon the conditions, as I said. So reason either it can be ethical or unethical, it depending upon the conditions and circumstances at their hand, where they're gonna do this process. Either it can be ethically, it can be non-ethically. So it's completely depends upon the condition. This is how the white hat hackers, black hat hackers, and gray hat hackers are there. So in general, if I'll talk about it, how the cyber attack happens is that is always it can be there with the black hat hackers or the gray hat hacker. No, it might be a chances the attack may happens from internal team. Internal team is we have the several team here, right? So this team can be considered as HR team. So if I talk about like sales team, marketing team, accounting team, construction team, so on, there are the several team are there. They are using an IT assets, like they are using the endpoints. Also, they are using like different computers here. That's other possibilities are there. The second important thing is, excuse me, one minute. All right. Okay. So sorry for that. So here we can see that like there are like the different team are there. This HR team, sales team, accounting team, construction team. We have we have another team called as the information technology IT team. So where there is the people like we have the developers, front end, full stack engineers, we have test engineers, we have people who have skills with Python, Java, .NET, where they've been working. We have an IT infrastructure team. So this IT infrastructure team can be a system team, network team, database team. So this is are the team which are using the corporate network, and also they are like taking care of different services here. But that might be a chances the attack may happens based on these process here. So this if the attack happens with these team, that is we call as the internal threat. We have internal threat and external threat. Internal threat are nothing but which has been done by the internal team because of like lack of awareness training. Maybe they got an phishing attack. Maybe like there are certain areas are there. They went to the malicious website. So there are several use cases are there through which the attack may happens. So we as a security expert, we need to protect this. So if I'll say you that we have an IT security team, so this IT security team can be like IM team, endpoint security team, vulnerability assessment team, network security team. Also, it can be considered as a SOC team, which is most important part in today's time. So they keep an eye on every activity what has happened. So these SOC team are going to work on the SIM, SOAR, and threat intelligence. So these are the tools are there. We call it a SIM tool. SIM is something, but we call it the security information's event management. We have a security architect, automation response. We have threat intelligence. So this can be considered as the SOC team which have been working. So we'll see some more detail about this in a while. So you'll get clear idea about this. All right. So as I said you that when we as a security expert working for an organizations, not only we taking care of external threat but also we going to take as an internal threat that is happening on this. So there is required a proper coordinations with this team. So I would like to take you with an example here. I want to relate this with the field of civil engineer, right? Let's see that. If I'll tell you what exactly the civil engineer will do it, can you just give me some idea about this, what they do generally?
Designing of a building, likewise, or site.
Right. They are into the constructions, right? They construct the building, houses, malls, individual houses, like, villas, bridges, and so on. So let's take an example. The civil engineer is going to construct buildings or something like. So in this case, the civil engineer must need to be get interact with the certain team here, like architect team. They need to interact with the masons. They need to interact with the tile workers. They need to interact with like plumbers. They need to interact with electricians. They need to be have a proper coordinations with the painters. That's a very important part. If there is no coordinations between civil engineer and this entire team, the constructions which not happens according to the plan what we have done, right? So there is need of communications, that need of a proper reporting system while they've been working here. So the team need to be have a complete idea about what is happening, what type of process is doing it. So civil engineers giving an a guidance, and based on that the entire project is going to be happen. But the same thing if I relate with an cybersecurity team. So we as a cybersecurity expert, so when we have been working as a cybersecurity expert here, so what we are doing it here. So as the expert team, when we have been working, we are taking care of the entire activities of inside the organizations, what is happening. So that can be considered as we have like, the HR team. So what exactly the HR team is doing it, how they're using these endpoints, like, how they connected to the network, what type of traffic they are doing it. So there are the several team are there, like, it can be a marketing team, it can be considered as a network team, that can be considered as like, the finance team. So there are the several team are there and they're doing the certain operations. So these operations need to be checked. We need to check like, what sort of activities they're performing, how they're working on these assets. Is that these assets are eligible to be there in the corporate network or not? Is that any type of threat is there, any type of malware is there? So there are certain parameters are there where the as a cybersecurity expert we've been taking care of them. So we are collecting the data from this endpoint. If anything going suspicious, if anything is malicious activities happens, we're going to detect that and we're going to investigate on those areas here. So this is how an example where we can consider that as in related to the cybersecurity expert team. So if I'll talk about this, how does it work? What are those teams are there? How the security team are being get informed? Like, how they are establishing it. So I would like to take an example here. I want to take it one of the use case through which we'll understand this. I'll tell you that how the IT involved in a company. What happens? So for that we need to be have one simple use case. So for that we're going to build a company. Let's see that. So if you are building a company, what is that company? So this company can be considered as a media advertising company and which are going to do the media prints like banners, hoarding, brochures. Let's take an example. So we are starting a business of a media advertising and we are the two owners. Let's imagine you and me as the two owner, we are going to set up this business. All right. So let's do understand this. So while we are starting this business, the first most important thing is that what we need to know that we need to get the computers here because we are there into the media advertising process, right? So we must have the computer and computer be installed with the required softwares. Let's take an example: Photoshop, Corel Draw, After Effects, and we should have the printer. This is another assets, and we should be connect with the network that's as a router. So overall, what we can see that here we are the two person, you and me, with the four IT assets. We have the two computers, one printer, one router. That's a network device also can be considered. So this is the asset list which we have established here, and we are the two person and four IT asset. We are starting this business right now. When we are doing this business as a media advertising but process, so what do you think? Like, are we what type of like skill set we have? Is that we are the creative person or we are the technical person? What do you think?
Technical.
See, we are there into the advertising part, creating the ads,
Okay.
like
Then,
videos.
then, okay.
So we
Then
can
we are into
consider
creative, right?
ourselves right creative person, right? More
Yes.
creative, less technical. Can I say that,
Yes.
Praveen,
Yes.
Afzal,
That's right.
everybody, right? So we can see that the more creative and less technical persons where we are there, like doing these services. So at this point, who will take care of the computer related issues? If the problem happens to a computer, who going to be fixed that? We know that in IT, we have an IT infrastructure. We have an IT team who will take care of it. But as you can see that we just started the business. So we are too small to hire an IT person. We can't afford to be have an IT person right away. Then what is the problem here? If it is any issues happens, who's going to be fixed? For that, we have third party support. We call as maintenance companies, right? Maintenance contract, annual maintenance contract company. We got it here. Now these company, which we have it, so they are going to take care of it. So let's see that here. As this AMC company, when we have it, these are company are taking care of it. So if any problem happens in the software, they're going to fix in 24 hours. If any problem happens in the hardware, they're going to fix in 3 days. Let's take an example. This is how where we are starting here. So this is are the conditions we got it, and thus we call as a SLA, service level agreement. And for this, we're going to pay certain amount. So we are paying 10,000 USD per annum, and we started this business. So this is how it's going. 1 year is completed. We went to the next year. Now what happens in the next year? That's the most important part. The next year we have increased our team. So we're just 2 person. Now we have 20 team. So we have the separate design team. We have sales team, finance team, HR team. Also, we increase IT asset. So IT assets is increases here. So there are different workstations and other network components also we got it. Now AMC also increased the price. They said last year you paid 10,000, now you have to pay 40,000 USD. Now guys, at this point, what do we think about it? Is that we need to pay 40,000 to them, or is that we should have our own team? Right? It's very simple and very clear idea where we can understand that, because we always the complete process never be depends on third party. Yes, we require third party in certain level when it increases the team, or increases the client. We may take the sub vendors that's are required, but major control will be there with the main team, right? Agree or not, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So at this point, the time comes, let's have our own team. That's an IT team, we can see that. So we can afford to be have an IT person instead of going to the third party. We should build our own system engineers. That's called as an IT guys in a very simple way. So we have this IT team which are taking care of anything happens to our endpoints that is under the roof. So we not depend, the dependency is not there with the third party, no, which is there with our team. So our team will be taking care. So there is no need of defining the timeline for getting in issues. So we can get a quick response to any issues if it is happens to our endpoints here. That's how the IT team has been working. Now what next? The next year again we increase our process. Now we have 200 team, and we have 300 IT assets. So it means we have different components like HRMs, which is a store that all the detail related to the employees, CRM related to the customers. We have the different file servers. We added different the email servers. So we have the email server as well. Now, as we can see this component as we got it, right? So if any problem happens to this asset, who will be taking care of it? If any issues happens, who will take care of it? Some input from you guys. If any problem happens to these assets, who will take care of it?
System engineer.
Okay. See, I'll tell you what happens. Let's imagine a situation. You have a car, right? Let's imagine a situation. You have a car and you want a driver. So what are the skill set we are looking in a driver? Driver should have a proper license. He should be nearby us. He should be available. He should be drive car safely. He should keep a car neat, hygienic, right? According to this situation, as we can see that if you're going for a long journey, suddenly tire punctured, so he should be skill set to change the tire, we know that. But imagine a situation, your main engine failed, transmission problem happened. So at this case, are you expecting that to be get fixed by your driver?
And now,
For that, who is responsible? Like there is a mechanic, there is some special team are there, right? Service center, we need to take the car. Agree, everyone? Yes.
yes, correct.
Yes.
So the similar way, the computer related, that problem will be taken care by the system team. But when it is comes to the network, so for that we require the network engineer. So network are very complicated, right? The services should be get designed. There are the different type of routers, switches, different type of architect. So corporate network is the different way. So network architecture design process are different, implementing different services, adding the services, making the service available, having the different traffic load balancing, right, according to the compliance requirement. There are many things are there which are there for the specialized team to be focused on it. So there is a special team called as a network team which is enter into the organizations, and they've been taking care of the entire network issues if it is happen, that can be related to the switches, routers, or any other component on the network which have been getting failed or which has not been able to get process any task. So these are the team which have been seeing the failover configurations. They have been there into taking care of any network component has been getting failed. In very simple way, we can say that they are dealing into the fault management system. So if anything happens wrong, so these are the team out there which have been taking care of that. This is how the network team is comes here. Now, how we started the business? How many people were there when we started the business, guys? There were two people, you and me. But now we have 200 team. So what do you think? Like, are we growing a business or not?
Yes. Yeah.
We are growing a business right now. So based on this growth, we got one project from top MNC. Let's say that. So the top MNC can be considered as Mercedes Benz, right? Can be considered an example. So Mercedes Benz has given us one of the project of coming product of 2025. Let's take example, and we are the advertising partner for them, and we are going to design the car. We're going to see what are the advertising features are there. So we there into that media partners and advertising partner for the coming product, and we are going all the creative process. We are creating the video shoots, ads, and product details, everything. So the entire team start working on it. They're creating the complete brochure, complete guidelines, all the features guide what they have for the vehicle. Even we there into taking care of commercial ads as well. So celebrity shoot, VFX effects, animations, and so on. All these features, everything which can be attract the more traffic where we are creating these ad. Everything is good. We have been working from past 6 months to complete this project. Almost the project is done, and now coming in the month of February first week, they're going to launch this car. They're going to start doing the commercials for that. Now, at this point of time, even the client is also happy. You have done awesome job. Everything is good. We are going to hand over this project within some time, within a pan of a week time or 15 days time. We are going to hand over the entire process. We are there into final touch up. At this point, what happens? Our finance team have received one invoice. This invoice has came from Mercedes Benz. They consider that, they click on that, and at this point, what happens? These invoice contain the malware infection. So these malware infection enter into the system here. So once they enter into the system, what happens? Suddenly it spread all other the computer, and these malware type is can be considered as a ransomware. So these ransomware is nothing but where the attacker has enter into it. Now these attacker are demanding to be pay the huge money here. We need to pay the ransom in order to get back all these data. Now we came into very critical situation here. We got a cyber attack with a ransomware. All the data is got encrypted, locked, and we can't be able to get an access any program, any file, or any data. Now here the attacker is saying that I will give you the decryption key only if you pay a certain amount. Now at this point, what we do it? Can we go to the client and say that we got cyber attack? Obviously no, because this is a time where we are getting increase our process. We are doing our business. So at this point, we can't go to the client and give this excuse, right? That's one point. Other point, we don't have any security team. We can't mitigate this. The third important thing is that even we can't involve the third party because data is very critical, and this is very confidential, right? Now, this cyber attack is impacting on three different areas. One, financial loss. Second, operation loss because we can't be able to do any operation. And the third one, where we can consider that it is our reputation loss. It might be also happens. You agree, everybody, with this situation?
Yes.
Now, how we need to come out with this situation? So the solution is that we should have a proper negotiation team. We need to interact with the attackers. We need to have a time period of ransoms to be paid till we get a data. So we need to make sure that we have to take a risk here. We need to compromise this, and we have to come out with the situation. We have to bear this in order to come out with this situation. So we have to pay some ransom and come out with the situation. This is only the solutions we have it here. Now, why this attack happens? Because we focus only on the improving the services. We never focus on securing the services, right? So that's the reason where we got an attack. Now we got a lesson. We got a cyber attack. So with that, we'll understood that these attack may lead to us as a financial loss also. So for that, we not only implement the business parameters to make run successfully, but also to secure our business. For that, what we have done, we come out with the situations anyhow, then we got a lesson. Now we started implementing the security. So we got it endpoint security team. Now what do you mean by the endpoints? Are nothing but the workstations, like installing different type of antivirus, EDRs, disk encryptions, and so on. So here we got it, like endpoint protection team, which are doing the protection to our endpoints here. Now what next? The next, it can be your network. The attack may happens to the network also. So for that, we require the network security team. So the network security team, which have been taking care of the entire network to be get secure, that installing the firewalls, IDS, web gateways, email gateways, and so on. So these are the team again, which are taking care of the entire security systems here. So we got the endpoint security team, we got the network security team. Our business is going smooth. We started this business in US, as we know that, like we have the 400 team, 700 IT assets. So we have two branches. One is in New York, USA. We have another branch in Hyderabad, India. And these branches are connected with the VPN and working on common network. Everything is going smooth. So we can see the system team, network team, endpoint security team, network security team. So with this, what happens? What do you think like? So when we see that the team has increased here, when we can see that there are like the several operations is performing by this team. So if we go ahead and see the further details about this, what do you think that attack will stop? No. Attack continuously to be happen due to certain reasons here. So what are those reasons can be there? So the reason can be considered as the configuration mistake that might be happens. It can be for the vulnerable softwares which have been using in the organization. It can be considered as a human error. So in order to fix this all, we have another dedicated team we call as the information security team. So what are their responsibilities are there? Their responsibilities are conducting the regular audit. So there is an internal audit, external audit are nothing but examine all these asset, having the different controls here, policies building, and other process where we can see that. So the conducting the regular audit, they are into like drafting the security policies, and they are into conducting the user awareness training. So this is at the major point where the information security team have been working here. So if I'll talk more detail about this, what happens? If we have these team, is that enough? No, because attack may happens with the different parameters again. So if I'll take an example here, let's see that audit is on not only the solutions where we can secure our IT assets, because let's imagine a situation. Audit is done in the last week of March. Okay. Configuration mistake may happen in the first week of April. That might be a possibilities are there. Yes, of course. It may happen. And these mistake can be get fixed in the next audit. So which has been going to be happens in the month of June. So it means like March we have done the audit. Configuration mistake happened in the month of April. April, May, June means nearly 2 months are there here. So it means like we need to leave this weak configuration as it is for more than 2 months. So what happens if we leave these weak configurations for more than 2 months? Is that okay? No. Attacker may take an down advantage of this. For these purpose, we have a process called as a continuous monitoring, which is very important here. So continuous monitoring are very important. Here comes the SOC team. So they're going to monitor all the asset, all the activities. Whenever anything happens at the initial stage, we're going to trace and we're going to mitigate here. So monitoring, detecting, investigating, and response to the cyber threat. This is how we are going to work. So this is how the SOC operation team we can see that. So just a rough idea where we can see that how this process which happens. We have the system team, network team, endpoint security team, network security team, information security team, security operation team. Again, we have IM team, we have cloud team, we have web pen testing team, and so on. We'll discuss that in detail. But this is overall picture of our IT organizations when we have been there into the cybersecurity. I believe everybody got some idea with this session. You got some idea about how these teams are there, what operations they perform. Isn't that so, guys? If you have any doubt, please feel free to ask me.
So Sheikh, thanks for this intro. It's quite like the best one which I've attended for previous workshops. So just when I've gone through the curriculum, I haven't seen that there is a tool like Nmap tool that frequently was used by many companies to check the ports. So do we
Mhm.
have any training on that?
Yes, yes, yes. It's include Nmap, Wireshark, Zmap. So that's all included into that. It is comes into the vulnerability assessment and web pen testing when it is comes on it.
VAPT. Yes.
Yes.
And also that is there any chance to get we trained on the email security for 0365 protection, something that tool?
See, I'll tell you, when this comes on the email security, it comes on the email gateways are there. Like we have
Okay.
Mimecast. When it is comes on the deployment, right? Sentinel-1, 360-degree securities, and so on. So this is
Mhm.
are the email gateways which are going to protect. So the most important thing is that it's not the particular tool. It's about like how we do the process, how we can do the email security analysis. If any phishing email happens, like how we can analyze that, what are the different threat intelligence tools are there. So we're going to have the complete detail about the phishing emails analysis and how we can secure those emails.
And also the last one, like we have a train on like VMware, the Kali Linux, right? Do we have on that or?
Yes, yes, you have the complete workshop on that, ethical hacking, VAPT, that's our recorded basis sessions where we have it, which you're going to be get. If I talk about the live sessions, which we are going to get it in a project process, networking, SOC analyst complete course with all the deployment, email security, which is comes under this. We're going to talk about cloud security by using the Azure Sentinel, right? This is are the areas which have been majorly focusing on it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And rest
Oh,
of
so
other
this
part, when it is comes on the web pen testing, when it is comes on ethical hacking, when it is comes on other more, there are the several other access will be getting you to get complete recorded sessions where you can do practice, because that is most important part, where how you get in hands on. Because if you're going with the five complete modules, right from SOC analyst, cloud security, web pen testing, ethical hacking, it may take us to reach nearly 1 year to complete this course. So what is our target is that the most demanded job area, the most process of how you're going to clear your interview, that is which we are going to do it, and this all with the live sim tools which we're going to work on it.
Thank you.
what about this malware analysis and also?
Yeah, obviously. See, when it is any alert come, it's a malware. So how we going to
Mhm.
analyze that? So that's all
And we will
complete is into.
analyze that we have any
Yes, yes,
like
yes.
CrowdStrike and or like any other tool we are using
No,
to analyze any
CrowdStrike. See, CrowdStrike is not malware analysis tool. Is a EDR tool. You know.
EDR tool. Okay.
Yeah, is a EDR tool. So one alert comes, how you analyze those? There are the threat intelligent tools, which I'm going to tell you that.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But we will learn how to the static and
Y-
dynamic and all. We'll learn, right? If
See,
any malware
yeah.
attachment we receive.
Yes, yes, Absar. I'll tell you about those or complete detail about it.
Okay.
Yeah. We're going to use a different type of sandboxes while doing the malware analysis. You'll get the complete detail about that. Yeah. So, all right. Any other questions from anyone? Please feel free to ask me.
No, that's it, Sheikh,
So
from me.
after this course, what other positions we can apply?
See, you can apply with the SOC level 1, level 2, and level 3 positions after this completing this course.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Sheikh, sorry for that. I just mentioned that like you have an experience in IT auditing, like a
Mm-hmm.
previous concern regarding that. So how could like we can variate this IT auditing like a path with the cybersecurity path? Like both have any future?
Yeah, both have
So
their
just
own
confused because you
features.
know you are the first time when I searched on internet for IT auditing process, you are the only one person who are
Mhm.
giving training on that.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, like, IT audit when it is comes, the most important thing is that where you need to understand what are the controls are there, what are the audit systems happens, what do you know about the internal audit, what do you mean by the external audit, how this governance, risk and compliance comes. When we have been doing an audit for the PCI DSS, what are the
Mhm.
requirement are there? ISO 27001, if I are going it, what is that? SOC 1, SOC 2, SOX. So there are, like, complete frameworks are there, which we're going to see that. Okay, I'll tell you about those all in detail while working into the compliance. Okay.
Sure, great, thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Sure.
So that's all.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much,
That's
guys.
thank you.
Thank you. See
Sure,
you tomorrow at the same time with the same link, and we'll see more detail about the next process of this. Okay. Take care.
sure, great,
Bye,
thank you.
everybody.
Like,
Good
goodbye.
night.